Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel, ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen. Sayyidina wa Maulana Abul Qasim Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله الحكيم في كتابه المتين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Imam of our time on the birth of his grandfather, Imam Hassan al-Mushtaba alayhi salatu wassalam. And I'd like to congratulate all of you, and may Allah bless you all and all of us on this auspicious night. We are concluding the subject of shaitan, even though there are many things left to be said, but the story of shaitan is a never-ending story. It's not going to end. And hopefully in these days we have a little insight and gained a little insight into seeing how shaitan deceives us and plays his tricks on us so that we are able to better defend ourselves against his plans and his plots. Now, I had said from the beginning that shaitan, he waits for people to come to the right path, to Sirat al-Mustaqim. And it's when you come to Sirat al-Mustaqim, that's when he misguides you. If you are misguided before you came to Sirat al-Mustaqim, then it's because of your own nafs. Your own self misguided you elsewhere, so he doesn't need to work on you. He only needs to work on people who are on the right path. So, in other words, it is a matter of honor and great respect to meet shaitan. If you ever come to meet shaitan, at least you know you're on Sirat al-Mustaqim. Because shaitan doesn't meet anyone who's not. He only meets people who are. And that's why if you ever meet shaitan, it means that you have achieved a great rank and position, that you are able to actually meet him. And if you meet him, give my regards also. But most of the time, we never meet shaitan. Shaitan only comes to those people who are clearly a threat for him, who really threaten his existence and his path. He comes to the awliya. He comes to those who are truly striving in Allah's way. That's where he comes to. For the average believer, he sends his henchmen, the shayateen, go and handle them. But only when he sees a real case of a strong believer, that's where he comes to him. He says, okay, I have to take care of him myself. And he comes there for that. And this is the reason why we have to be aware of shaitan's plans if we plan to walk on Sirat al-Mustaqim, if we want to walk on the right path. And since he comes on the right path, how does he change it? How does he misguide people? As I said before in yesterday's speech, sometimes Shaitan misguides people by opposing religion. And sometimes he misguides people by using religion. The very faith and the very ideology that brought you to Sirat al-Mustaqim, the very thing that you feel is Islam, he will use that against you. And he will misguide you through that. And as I had explained yesterday, when the concept of God was established, he brought about false gods to worship. When the concept of Nabuwwat was established, he brought about false prophets to misguide the people. When the concept of Imamat was established, he brought about false Imams to misguide the people. And now, every time you see that whatever the symbol of Islam is, and the means towards Allah is, you see Shaitan will use that against those people who follow it. For example, if you follow the Prophet, he's going to bring about false prophets. If you follow the Imams, he will bring about false Imams. So now in our time we see that we neither have prophets and the Imam is in ghaib, is hidden. So now the symbol or the means towards the Imam is the ulama. And I have mentioned in the speech before that obedience to the ulama is like obedience to the Imam. And obedience to the Imam is like obedience to Rasulullah and to Allah. And hence, on one hand, you have to obey the ulama in order to obey the Imam. Because they said that in our ghaib, Imam Hasan Askari alayhi salatu wasalam has said, in the time of the ghaib, that you go to those ulama who speak of our sayings. Meaning you, whenever you see someone who speaks of Ahlul Bayt and who not knowledge of Ahlul Bayt, you go to them and make taqleed to them. Right? So in other words, obedience, we have to have obedience. But on the other hand, we see that now that we are told to have obedience, on the other hand we see that Shaitan, just like he has misguided people before, now is going to bring about false ulama. And the reason this happens is because in any era you see, the people who were misguided by Shaitan were the people who did not have the clear view of what these concepts were. Those who did not have a clear view of Tawheed and about Allah, they were misguided by Shaitan because of false gods. Those who didn't have a clear ideology of Nabuwwat and prophethood, they were misguided by Shaitan, by false prophets. Those who don't have a clear understanding of Imamat are misguided by Shaitan because of that ambiguity in their ideology, he uses that to get to them. And so in order for us to be protected, it is our job to have the true ma'rifat and the true ideology of who an alim is. If we don't have that ideology, then he will misguide us. And unfortunately what we see is that many people have the wrong idea of who an alim is. How do you know who an alim is? What is the way of recognizing an alim? If you ask most people this question, really the symbol of an alim or the sign or the alamat of an alim has become the amama. Look at the amama. Everyone thinks that anyone who wears an amama is an alim. If that is our view of an alim, then it's very easy for Shaitan to put an amama on someone's head, because you know that amama, this amama costs $9.99 at Walmart. You can get it at Walmart for $9.99, right? but $9.99 don't make you an alim. And if that is our idea of an alim, then we're already misguided. That anyone would come in an amama and misguide us. Anyone would come in this abba and this dress and misguide us. If the dress was the sign of an alim, we would be misguided. Now let us go back and see which ayat or which hadith say that if you see someone in this dress, he's an alim. Is there any hadith that says, okay, this is the sign of ulama, the one who wears amama and abba? Which ayat or which hadith says that? What are we following? Where did we get this ideology from? Who established this in our hearts and in our minds? Understand this, my brothers. It's very important because this is how shaitan misguides. When we have the wrong ideology about something, when it's unclear, and when this is like this, then it's very easy for him. Just put someone in an amama and abba and that's it. Everyone will blindly follow him. That's not the way our Prophet has taught us, or Allah has taught us. That's not the way the Imams have taught us. How did they teach us? What are the signs of ulama? First, let's go to the Quran. You see, we know that you have to obey an alim. Because the issue right now is that you have to do ita'at of Ahlul Bayt. See, that's the main thing. Ita'at of Ahlul Bayt is wajib. Right? But in their ghaib, when they're not here, then the ita'at of Ahlul Bayt can only be done by doing ita'at of the ilm of Ahlul Bayt. The knowledge they have given. The ilm they have given. So those who have ilm, that's why we follow them. And that's why ilm is respected. Knowledge is respected because that's what we follow. Wherever there's true knowledge of Allah and Ahlul Bayt, we follow that. That's what we follow. So we have to obey that. We have to be obedient to it. And we see that the Imams have shown us to respect that. Really, we are not alims. My friends, we are not alims. In fact, anyone who claims to be an alim is jahil. Anyone who says he's an alim, he's jahil. Because truly, an alim is someone who knows that he is jahil. That's who the alim is. It's like, for example, when you are on, have you ever been on a beach? Okay, you don't have to raise your hands. Don't admit it. Alright, but if you stand on the shore of a beach and look at the ocean, you just look at the ocean, right? It looks very easy, it looks very simple, it looks very harmless. You're on the beach, you're on firm ground, you're watching the ocean, saying, this is the ocean? That's it, nothing. Okay, once you start traveling into the ocean, slowly you start to feel the overwhelming enormity of the ocean. And after a while, when you go deeper into the ocean, further into the ocean, you will see that you're surrounded by the ocean and you feel helpless. And then you realize how insignificant you are. This is the example of knowledge. Those who do not have it, they look at it and say, this is nothing. But those who go into it, they recognize how great knowledge is and how insignificant they are. See, this is who an alim is. An alim is someone who has recognized how insignificant he is, how little he knows. This is how ilm is, my friends. Ilm is an ocean. Imam Ali has compared it to an ocean. He said, ilm is an ocean. It's a bahar. When you go inside it, then you will see how big it is. Right? So those who have gone there, you see, they know how insignificant they are. So this is the reason why this knowledge is respected. And we are not alims. The true ulama were Ahlul Bayt, were the Imams, were the Prophet, the Imams. They were the true ulama. The true ilm that Allah had given them. They had knowledge. And when you see a person like Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salatu wasalam, when an imam like that, when a student, you see, this imam is a true alim. He has been given knowledge by Allah. When he used to see a student of Islam, a student who's not even an alim, a student, when a student used to come in front of him, imam used to stand up in respect of him. Imam used to stand up in respect of a student who's learning knowledge. Understand? Imam knows the worth of knowledge. That's why he's respecting. He's not respecting the height of this person, or the weight, or the stature. He's respecting the ilm that he's gaining, the ilm of Allah. My friends, this is what's important. What we need to understand is that who is an alim? And when we look at the ayat, when we look at the Quran, Allah mentions one of the signs of the ulama. The sign of the ulama is not the imam and abba. Allah mentions, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. He mentioned that ulama, who are these people? They are those who have the true fear of Allah in their hearts. Whose hearts have understood the greatness of Allah and have understood how low they are in front of Allah. These are ulama, my friends. When you look at these qualities, you see, this is not easy to get. Being an alim is not easy to get. It's not easy to be someone like that. It's very easy to wear an imamah, but it's very hard to get the qualities that are required for you to be there. You see, so now when we look at who an alim is, my friends, the first quality of an alim is that he is the one who has the fear of Allah and he points people towards Allah. Because a true alim is someone who has recognized that he is nothing, the only thing that exists and has weight and has reality is Allah. That is who an alim is. Now there are many signs. I'm not going to mention all the signs tonight. It's not possible. So I'm just going to go on one sign, so we understand it very well. Right? Others, inshallah, we will leave it for some other time. But just understand this, my friends. An alim is someone who gives credit to Allah. He gives credit to Allah. This is the sign of ilm. This is a sign of ma'rifat. What Imam Ali alayhi salam had done. What he did in Khaybar was a feat worth mentioning. Even those who didn't like him or oppose him, even on the Muslim side, they were amazed at what he did. When he went up to the fort of Khaybar and he took the door of Khaybar off its hinges, a door that was so heavy that many men would move. He single-handedly took the door off its hinges and threw it away and opened the way for the Muslims. The Muslims who were watching this were just amazed, their eyes wide open, the jaws dropped, and they were like looking at each other and saying, Did you just see what he did? Did you just see what he did? They were like shocked. They were amazed. Such a feat that all the Muslims were just like spellbound by what he had just done. A normal human doesn't do that. Right? A normal human doesn't do that. Such a feat. No one was able to conquer the fort. The Prophet was there for 40 days. No one is able to do anything to the fort. And here you see Imam Ali, in one cry, went there, unhooked the door, threw it off the hinges, and everyone's watching him. My friends, understand this. And then when he came, doing such a feat, so the people asked him, they're all like praising him. Ali, you're great, you're this, you're that. Now, it was time to take the credit. I mean, it's an amazing feat. It's an amazing feat that no one can do. And if Imam Ali wanted to establish his imamat, he would have been like, you know what, hey, you know who the next imam is after the Prophet, don't you? I mean, it was time to take the credit. I mean, you see, when they were all praising him, you see Imam Ali saying, Yawma ma khalatu yawma baba khaybar biquwwat al-jismaniyah bal biquwwat al-rabbaniyah. I mean, when it was time for him to take the credit, he's saying, hey, no, it's not me who did it, it's Allah who did it. I didn't do it, it's Allah who did it. Don't give the credit to me, give the credit to Allah. Understand this? Now I want to put this into perspective. Right? Really, if we had done something like Imam Ali had done, then you know what? We will rule over this masjid right here. Hey, I'm the one who broke the door of Alrasool masjid, you know. You know, we would, I mean, really, we write an insignificant book, right? For example, people write insignificant books that really, you know, it's like, I mean, you wrote a book, so what? There are many books, right? But you see, I mean, yes, you write a book about Allah, right? You write a book about Allah or Tawheed or Aqaid or Rasul, something good, which is good, alhamdulillah, it's good to do that. But you see what happens. The title of that book is Tawheed or Allah. Right? You see that when you write the book, the title is smaller and your name is bigger. You know? Meaning that this book is about Allah, by who? Samahat, Hajjul Islam, your name is bigger than Allah's name. You know? This is not a big thing you did. I mean, really, it does happen. You see, a lot of times we don't recognize this. But a true alim is someone who gives credit to Allah because he recognizes Allah more than himself. You know, let me give another example so it becomes very clear to you. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. You know, we all came here as immigrants. You know, some came as through immigration, some came as refugees, some came as students, right? We're all immigrants here. So what happened is that one such immigrant, he came, he's a doctor, you know, came in the 60s. One of the things you will notice here, right, is that, you know, no matter how long you live here, this and that, you're always a second-hand citizen, you know. You get money, you get all these things, you know, but you don't get that respect. So one of this doctor, he was from Pakistan. You know, he was like, you know what, I'm here, I've been working for 25 years, I'm rich, I have money, I have everything, but you know what, it doesn't feel like I have the respect. I mean, if I go back to Pakistan, you know, there's more respect for me and this and that, and all these things. So he decided, you know what, I'm going to go back and earn respect, because you know, really, money is there for respect and power. If you don't get respect and power, what's the use of money? What's the use of money? After a while, you just get sick of the money. What's the use of this money when I'm not respected, when I don't have power and domination over others? So money leads to that. So when he had the money, now he wanted that hukumat, he wanted that, you know, respect. So he said, you know, I can't stand for elections here, no one's going to vote for me, I'll go back to Pakistan and stand up for elections. So he went back to Pakistan and he wanted to stand for the election. He had a long, you know, like for example, childhood friend who was there, and he shared the idea, and his friend said, great, alhamdulillah, you know, that's good. So he said, all right, you know, so he appointed his friend as the campaign manager, right, that you be the campaign manager. So the friend said, all right, you know, I'll be the campaign manager, you know. So, you know, we're going to go on that trail, speeches. So he arranged for the speeches from going one village to another. So the friend, he came out, he was living at the hotel, he came out with a suit and tie and everything like that. His friend looked at him and said, wait a minute, what are you doing? He said, we're going out to speeches, this and that, so I'm well dressed. He says, but you can't go in front of the people like this. You have to wear the national dress, they'll look at you as a foreigner. He says, but I don't have any Pakistani clothes, the shalwar. So the friend said, don't worry, I'll give it to you. I have extra. Alright, good. So he gave him his shalwar, the Pakistani dress. So they said, alright, let's go out. So they went to the first village. And so the idea was that the friend is going to go up and he's going to give the pep talk, introduce the guy, and this guy was going to come next and give the main speech. So he went up there and said, this is my friend, I know him for a long time, he's a doctor, he's very intelligent, he's going to make schools for us, roads for us, and so many promises, and this and that, and the shalwar he's wearing is mine. Now everyone was hyped up, right? Instead of now listening to his speech, they're looking at his shalwar. They're looking at his shalwar. So, after he gave the speech, he noticed that. So he went to his friend, he said, listen, don't say the shalwar is yours. Right? Leave that, okay. So they went to the next village. And he gave the same speech. My friend is this, intelligent, hospitals, schools, and everything he'll open for you, all these things. And that shalwar is not mine. The friend said, hey, listen, don't mention the shalwar is yours or mine. So they went to the third stop. And then again he gave the same speech, hospitals, schools and everything, this and that. And then at the end he said, the shalwar, we don't know where it's from. And now you see the reason that shalwar is so important. You see, in all that campaign, the person is spending all his money. The only thing the friend gave was the shalwar, but he wanted everyone to notice the shalwar. You see, everyone wants others to know what they have done. Everyone is so self-centered that they think they are the center of all humanity. So anything they do, and you'll see that in the masjid. As an example I'm saying, and I don't even know this is the truth here or not, I'm just saying as an example, I should put out a disclaimer. What I'm going to say has no depiction in reality, not apply to anyone, right? Let's say, for example, right? And I'm giving the example, right? Now, someone, he came here and, for example, he made the mihrab. He did the mihrab and this and that, right? And that's the only thing he did in the whole masjid. Right? Everyone did their own part. Someone did this, someone did that, someone did that. Everyone pitched in this and that. Now he's introducing the masjid to everyone. He says, how do you like your masjid? He says, it's great, this and that. What do you think about the mihrab? Why is that? Why is that? You see, because my friend, if we understood this, right? If a person understood this, if he had ilm, if he had ma'rifat, he would know that it is not him who is doing it, it is Allah who is making him do it. No matter how little your contribution is, that little contribution is being done by Allah. He is the one who is doing it for you. He is the one who is making it, you do it. And those who are ulama, they recognize that. They recognize that it is Allah who is the main one. I am nothing. So never make myself be known to people. It is just make Allah known to the people. Because that is what I'm here for. A true alim points you towards Allah and says, Allah is the one, not me. A true alim says, Ahlul Bayt are the one, not me. Don't look at me. You look at me, you will be misguided. Look at Ahlul Bayt so you can be guided. See, this is a true alim. This is one sign of an alim. He is the one who is making you recognize Allah, my friends. Those who are going to say, well, I am this and I am that and I did that. Really, did you do those things or did Allah make you do it? If it wasn't for Allah's guidance, would you have done it? You won't have. It is Allah's guidance that's making you do this. Right? So credit goes to Him. That's why we say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We start off the Quran by saying Alhamdulillah. Allah deserves all the praise. Allah deserves all the praise. And the true alim is someone who says that. This, my friends, is one sign of an alim. Many other signs are there. Right? Inshallah, when we have the time, we'll go through that. But just understand, those who have ilm, they recognize its significance and they know that this is, the true thing is Allah. They point towards Allah and they get the people to go to Allah. Right? They attract the people, but not for themselves. They attract them so that they can take them to Allah. And say that this is your real place where you'll find happiness. My friends, this is a true alim. Right? That's how you recognize it. If we have these qualities in mind that the Quran and Ahlul Bayt have given us, then no one can be an imposter and be an alim. No one can impersonate an alim. But if we have made the Imam and Abba as a alamat, then many imposters can come. Many impersonators can come and say, oh, you know what, I'm this, I'm that. No, my friends, this is not the sign. The signs that Allah and Ahlul Bayt have given us, that's what we need to learn. And when we know those signs, then you will not be misguided. Then you will not be misguided, then you will know how to protect yourself from anyone who's a false claimant. And you would know that, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Right? Because we have the wrong ideology about an alim. That's why many false ulama come forward and they will misguide us. And these people are attractive. They work on that. You know, they work on that. It's not a work of Allah that they are doing. It is a showmanship. It's entertainment. They come here to entertain the people so they can be invited back. They entertain the people so they want to come back. Not to teach them or to educate them or to do tambi and to do inzar, but actually just to entertain them so that they can be invited back. This is what they come for. And they make sure that they charge a fee. Really. I don't know if you have known anyone like that, but there are many people out there who charge what people think is a lot. You know, I mean, there are those who charge 1,000 a speech. And if you don't give them that, they don't come. They said, if you give me 1,000, I'll come. A speech. And people are like, wow, he's expensive. Right? And that's how they make their mark. You know, I mean, I can tell you stories, but it's not that much stories right now. Right? But you see, there are those people who say, oh, if you don't give me this much money, I won't come. Are you doing it for Allah or are you doing it for the money? If you do it for Allah, it doesn't matter what the people give you. Because when you're working for Allah, you don't expect, here's the thing, you work for Joe, right? He's your boss, you work for him, so you can ask him to pay you. You expect income from him, your salary comes from Joe. But if you work for Joe, why are you expecting your money from Harry? If you're working for Allah, how are you charging the people for it? Understand this. And the thing that they don't understand is this. These people think they're charging a lot. Because that's how they make their name. Oh, he's 1,000 a night. Or he's 800 a night. He's 700 a night. That's how they make their name. Oh, he's big time because he charges this much. But what they don't understand, he's charging very little. He's charging very little. I mean, that's like pump rates. You know, that's like, selling yourself cheap. If you had known the price of this knowledge, you would never sell it for 1,000. You see, the knowledge is so priceless that no matter how much this dunya can never repay for the knowledge you're giving it. That's why you never charge the people for it. You always let Allah give you what is in exchange for this knowledge. See that's why Allah wants to give it to you there. 1,000 is a very cheap price. The true price of knowledge is what Allah has in store for you in Jannah. That is the real price. And these kids, they're new to this field, and so now they're saying, oh, I can make a big name if I charge this much money. But it's like, I can give a street example, but, maybe the member is not the best place for a street example. Right? It's like, you don't know the price of yourself. There are people who sell their bodies, and they sell it for cheap. Right? For cheap. Because they don't know the worth of themselves. They don't know the worth of themselves. If they had known the worth of this knowledge, then they wouldn't be charging for it in dunya. They would know that it is Allah who's going to pay them in the hereafter. It is Allah who's going to take care of them in the hereafter. That's why they don't charge in this dunya, because they know there's nothing in this dunya that can be a price for what they are doing. Right? And this is what we must understand, and the true ideology that we must have in knowing who the right alim is, so that we can gain knowledge from the one who truly is working for Allah's cause. Is truly, sincerely working for Allah's cause. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us that tawfiq and the blessing to be on the right path. Give us the wisdom to understand His guidance. Hasten the reappearance of our Imam. Make us His helper when He comes. وآخر الدعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.